Hello and welcome to Beyond Games, the YouTube channel all about what's next. I'm John Jordan. So in the news today we have something pretty interesting, something close to my heart, but we have Tencent is suing a Chinese marketplace because it says it owns all the assets in the games. So this is kind of sitting in the kind of grey area that we've kind of talked about quite a lot of times before, which is players think they own the things they buy in games. And developers and publishers say you don't, and legally the publishers and developers are correct. So we're playing games, we're buying things in the game. If you read the terms and conditions, the EULA, as they say, basically it says that we don't own anything in our games. The game is sort of a service that we are provided for by the games company, and everything in the game is owned by the company. So that's just how it is in most places in the world. What's interesting about this is Tencent's actually suing someone. So we don't really see this. We don't really see things getting to the court stage in Europe and the US, North America. Really, I guess that's because the sort of people, when they get told by Activision to stop doing something, normally they do it. So things are slightly different in China. Although I guess when it comes to sort of IP law and copyright, it is coming to a more kind of Western approach. Particularly something like Tencent, massive company, the biggest games company in the world, an enormous Chinese internet player. Very strong links to the government as well. So Tencent clearly is quite aggressively going after this company, DD373.com, which is actually suing them for quite a small amount. So Tencent, billions and billions of dollars of revenue, but it's suing them for $6 million, which wouldn't even notice on its balance sheet. Anyway, this does kind of highlight, I think, some of the interesting trends that we're seeing, and I think particularly in China, where players, I think, are much. I'm going to say much more likely to be sort of trading items. That's my gut feeling. Is things are a little more probably the term Wild West is wrong, but I think when it comes to things like kind of owning digital items, I think in China people are much more prepared and likely to kind of trade them on the grey market. And you could kind of argue we've seen that from back in the days of World of Warcraft, when a lot of Chinese people spent their days farming gold to be sold in the West, because time was cheap in China at that point, and gold could be sold in the West for lots of money. So I imagine that over time has sort of bred a certain generation of people who really think it's fine to spend time playing games, earning items in games, and then selling them on for money. So anyway, what's interesting here, one of the many interesting things here is so Tencent is suing this company. So it's suing them in this court, in the internet court, and because it's an internet court, the 7-hour trial was broadcast live. So I guess at the moment in the US we've got Apple versus Epic, which is generating lots of interest. This maybe not quite at that level, but it's interesting that a 7-hour trial broadcast live, and Tencent's arguing that in-game merchandise items, really, such as potions, have no material value in real life, and that it owns them. So it's saying players can use the game but have no rights to trade them. Virtual coins, which you were buying with real money, are effectively service charges. So they're saying not real money at all. This article is this trial happened on the April the 8th. So not quite clear why there's not been a ruling yet. Lots of people are watching it though. Tencent has brought an economist to kind of argue these things. Obviously, game players are not very happy about it. So it says here, going back to what I was saying about kind of the attitude in China, many players hire full-time gaming professionals to earn in-game rewards for them. So that's sort of where you give someone your account and say and pay them to go and level up your characters for you and stuff. I mean, that's not really part of this particular court case, because the court case there is if I've spent $1,000 buying stuff in a game, and I've got all these cool assets I've spent $1,000 buying, can I then can I go to this marketplace and then trade them with other people? Quite technically how they're doing that, I'm not quite sure. Probably selling accounts, I would imagine. So obviously we have people here saying, people complaining, that gamers complain we don't own anything, not even our own accounts. So this item trading platform, DD373, has been trading virtual items of 160 million yen, and yuan, sorry, I should say. And what Tencent is after is the 5% commission. So if I sell something on this site, if I sell $100 worth of equipment on that site, they take 5%, $5 as the trade. So that's what Tencent is trading. And we can see here trades are still going on the site. So you can buy, in this particular game they were talking about, a Dungeon Fighter, you can buy a full set of armor at 550 yuan and 20 million coins for 40 yuan. So it's not just over this game; it's over everything. So there we go. What's interesting is, well, here the marketplace's lawyers are arguing that Tencent's suit effectively aims to destroy the in-game item trading business. Well, yeah, exactly. It's exactly what it needs to do. What they want to do, and that's what any Western developer. That's what Zynga or Activision or EA, any of these companies would exactly do the same thing as Tencent. But I think what's interesting is that gamers' attitudes have changed, and probably always have been different, but certainly as people are spending more in games and these games become more complicated and people play them for years, people start to feel, morally at least, even if not legally, they do own the stuff in games. That's what they feel. They own the stuff in games, and if they can get money out of it, they will. That's why we see people grey selling their Fortnite accounts. I guess that's been pretty well documented. Obviously, in the past they mentioned Steam here, so Steam has similar views as Tencent. In fact, I say all these companies do. What is interesting, I think, with my little kind of blockchain hat on, I do think because players do think they have a moral ownership rights on their stuff, that in the end will win. Games companies will have to let them trade their items, and games companies will be taking this 5% commission, and games companies will have to structure their businesses around that being something that happens. So it could be difficult for them in the short term. I think it'd be very profitable for them in the long term, allowing people to trade their in-game items and take a 5% margin. So I think we'll see that coming in already with blockchain games. This is the standard. Obviously, those are items that are secured on a blockchain, and then the players own them in their own personal wallets, and then they can trade them on marketplaces, and the developer gets a 5% cut. So we're seeing that already. Even I guess NBA Top Shot, which is not a game but an NFT collection, that has already done $500 million of trading in like four months. So we're seeing those kind of models, and the developer of that product, Dapper Labs, gets 5% of that trading volume. So $25 million is its share of that. So interesting stuff. Lawsuits always kind of interesting to bring out some arguments and kind of create kind of conflict between obviously two different points of views. I think in this case we're going to see a lot more activity in that area, but I think there is a conclusion, a good conclusion for gamers and a good conclusion for developers as well. So we wait to see what happens. Thanks for watching. This is Beyond Games, the YouTube channel all about what's next. Please subscribe and see you again soon.